In a distant galaxy, on a planet quite different from Earth, there was a school unlike any other. This school was home to students from various alien species across the universe. The classrooms buzzed with excitement as the young aliens eagerly learned about the wonders of the cosmos. One day, news spread throughout the school that a new group of students would be joining their ranks, the Deathworlders. Whispers filled the hallways as the alien students discussed the fearsome reputation of these beings. Deathworlders were known for their incredible strength, resilience, and their ability to survive in the harshest of environments. The teachers, who had never encountered Deathworlders before, were both curious and apprehensive about the new arrivals. They wondered how these students would fit in with the rest of the class and how they would adapt to the school's curriculum. As the day of the Deathworlders' arrival drew closer, the alien students grew more anxious. Some were excited to meet these mysterious beings, while others were terrified of the potential danger they might bring. The teachers tried their best to reassure the students, reminding them that everyone deserved a chance to learn and grow, regardless of their background. Finally, the much-anticipated day arrived. The Deathworlder students, who came from a planet known for its extreme conditions and dangerous wildlife, stepped into the school. They were a diverse group, with unique physical characteristics that set them apart from the other alien students. Some Deathworlders had tough, armored skin that could withstand extreme temperatures and pressures. Others had sharp claws and fangs, hinting at their predatory nature. Despite their intimidating appearances, the Deathworlder students seemed just as nervous and excited as any other new student would be. As the Deathworlders entered the classroom, the alien students fell silent. The tension in the air was palpable as everyone waited to see how the new students would interact with the rest of the class. The teacher, a wise and experienced educator, stepped forward to welcome the Deathworlders and introduce them to their classmates. The Deathworlder students, though initially reserved, slowly began to open up as the teacher encouraged them to share their stories and experiences. They spoke of their home planet, the challenges they faced, and the unique abilities they had developed to survive. The alien students listened intently, their fear gradually giving way to fascination and respect. As the day progressed, the Deathworlders started to integrate with the rest of the class. They participated in lessons, asked questions, and even shared a few laughs with their new classmates. The alien students began to realize that despite their differences, they had much in common with the Deathworlders: a thirst for knowledge, a desire to explore, and a need for friendship. The teacher watched with pride as the students, both alien and Deathworlder, started to form bonds and learn from one another. It was a testament to the power of education and the importance of embracing diversity. Little did they know that the arrival of the Deathworlders was just the beginning of an extraordinary journey. The school was about to embark on a series of adventures and challenges that would test the limits of their understanding and bring them closer together than ever before. As the bell rang, signaling the end of the day, the students filed out of the classroom, buzzing with excitement about the new friendships they had formed and the possibilities that lay ahead. The Deathworlders, once feared and misunderstood, were now an integral part of the school community, ready to learn, grow, and make their mark on the universe. As the days passed, the Deathworlder students slowly began to adjust to their new school environment. They attended classes, participated in activities, and formed friendships with their alien classmates. However, there was still an air of mystery surrounding them, and many of the alien students remained curious about the Deathworlders' lives outside of school. One day, the teacher announced that they would be having a special show-and-tell activity, where each student would have the opportunity to bring something from their home planet to share with the class. The alien students were thrilled at the prospect of learning more about each other's cultures and traditions. The day of the show-and-tell arrived, and the classroom was buzzing with excitement. The alien students eagerly waited for their turn to present their items, each one more fascinating than the last. Some brought colorful crystals that hummed with energy, while others displayed intricate artifacts crafted by their ancestors. As the Deathworlder students' turn approached, a hush fell over the classroom. Everyone was curious to see what these mysterious beings would bring to share. The first Deathworlder student, a tall and muscular creature with piercing eyes, stepped forward. "On my home planet," the Deathworlder began, "we have a special connection with the animals that share our world. They are not just creatures to us, but companions and friends." With that, the Deathworlder reached into a large reinforced container and carefully lifted out a small furry creature. The alien students gasped in awe as they laid eyes on the adorable animal, which resembled a cross between a kitten and a puppy. The Deathworlder gently cradled the creature in their arms, explaining how their people had domesticated these animals and formed deep bonds with them over generations. The alien students marveled at the creature's soft fur and playful demeanor, and many of them asked if they could pet it. As the other Deathworlder students took their turns, they too revealed the special pets they had brought from their home planet. Each one was more incredible than the last, ranging from a small iridescent lizard that could change colors to a majestic bird with feathers that shimmered like starlight. The alien students were amazed by the Deathworlder's pets, and they began to see their new classmates in a different light. They realized that despite their intimidating appearances and fearsome reputations, the Deathworlders had a deep capacity for love and compassion. As the show and tell activity came to a close, the teacher praised the students for their wonderful presentations and encouraged them to continue learning from one another. The alien students, now more curious than ever about the Deathworlders, approached them with questions and requests to learn more about their pets. The Deathworlder students, thrilled by the positive reception, happily shared stories and information about their beloved companions. They explained how each pet had its own unique personality and quirks, and how they had learned to communicate with them through a special bond. As the school day ended, the alien students left the classroom with a newfound appreciation for the Deathworlders and their pets. They chattered excitedly about the incredible creatures they had seen and the stories they had heard, eager to share their experiences with their families and friends. Little did they know that the show and tell activity was just the beginning of a series of events that would change the school forever. The Deathworlders' pets, once a source of fear and uncertainty, would soon become the catalyst for an incredible adventure that would test the limits of their friendship and courage. And so, as the sun set on another day at the alien school, the students, both alien and Deathworlder, looked to the future with excitement and wonder, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead together. The following day, the alien students entered the classroom with a mix of excitement and nervousness. They had been so impressed by the Deathworlders' pets during the show and tell activity that they couldn't wait to see them again. However, there was also a slight apprehension in the air, as some students still harbored a lingering fear of the unknown. As the students took their seats, the teacher called for their attention. "Today," she announced, "we will be learning about the different ecosystems on our planets and how they support the diverse life forms that call them home." The alien students eagerly opened their textbooks, ready to dive into the lesson. The teacher began by discussing the lush, bioluminescent forests of a nearby moon and the strange gelatinous creatures that thrived in its glowing pools. As the lesson progressed, the Deathworlder students listened intently, fascinated by the alien worlds being described. They had never encountered such bizarre and wondrous environments on their own planet, which was known for its harsh, unforgiving conditions. Suddenly, a small furry head popped out of one of the Deathworlders' bags. It was the adorable pet from the show and tell activity, curious about the strange new sights and sounds of the classroom. The Deathworlder student gently scooped up the creature and cradled it in their arms, trying to soothe its excitement. The alien students, momentarily distracted from the lesson, couldn't help but stare at the cute pet. Some of them smiled and cooed, while others looked on with a mixture of curiosity and hesitation. The teacher, noticing the distraction, saw an opportunity to bring the lesson to life. "Why don't we take a moment to discuss the ecosystems on the Deathworlders' planet?" she suggested. "I'm sure their pets are well adapted to their unique environment." The Deathworlder students, eager to share their knowledge, began to describe the rugged terrain and extreme weather patterns of their home world. They spoke of towering mountains that pierced the sky, vast deserts that stretched beyond the horizon, and oceans that raged with fury. As they delved deeper into the intricacies of their planet's ecosystems, the alien students listened with rapt attention. They learned about the hardy plants that could withstand the scorching heat and the fierce predators that roamed the wilderness. The Deathworlder with the furry pet explained how their animal companion had evolved to survive in the dense, shadowy forests of their planet. Its keen senses and agile body allowed it to navigate the treacherous undergrowth and evade the many dangers that lurked within. Another Deathworlder student, the one with the color-changing lizard, described how their pet's unique ability helped it blend into its surroundings, providing camouflage against both predators and prey. As the lesson continued, the alien students found themselves increasingly fascinated by the Deathworlder's planet and the creatures that called it home. They began to see the Deathworlder's pets not as terrifying beasts, but as marvels of adaptation and resilience. The teacher, impressed by the students' engagement and the depth of their knowledge, encouraged them to ask questions and share their own experiences. The classroom buzzed with lively discussion as the students, both alien and Deathworlder, exchanged stories and insights about the incredible diversity of life in the universe. As the bell rang, signaling the end of the lesson, the students reluctantly packed up their belongings. They had been so engrossed in the discussion that they hadn't even noticed the time passing. The alien students left the classroom that day with a newfound appreciation for the Deathworlders and their pets. They had learned that even in the harshest and most unforgiving environments, life could find a way to thrive and flourish. Little did they know that their newfound knowledge and understanding would soon be put to the test. For deep in the heart of the Deathworlder's planet, an ancient evil was stirring, threatening to unleash chaos upon the universe. And it would be up to the students, both alien and Deathworlder, to stand together and face this threat head-on. Days turned into weeks, and the alien and Deathworlder students continued to learn and grow together. The initial apprehension and fear that had once divided them had given way to a deep sense of camaraderie and understanding. The Deathworlder's pets, once a source of terror, had become beloved mascots of the school, cherished by all who encountered them. However, as the students settled into their new routine, strange rumors began to circulate throughout the school. Whispers of an ancient evil stirring on the Deathworlder's planet, a malevolent force that threatened to engulf the entire universe in darkness. At first, the students paid little heed to these rumors, dismissing them as mere ghost stories and superstitions. But as the days passed, the whispers grew louder and more insistent, until they could no longer be ignored. One day, as the students gathered in the classroom, the teacher entered with a grave expression on her face. "Students," she began, her voice heavy with concern, "I'm afraid I have some troubling news. It seems that the rumors we've been hearing about the Deathworlder's planet are true. An ancient evil has indeed awakened, and it threatens not only their world but the entire universe." The students gasped in shock and disbelief, their eyes wide with fear. The Deathworlders, however, remained stoic and determined, their faces set in grim resolve. "We have faced this evil before." One of the Deathworlders spoke up, her voice steady and strong. "It is a force of pure darkness, a being of immense power that seeks to consume all life in its path. Our ancestors fought against it long ago, and now it falls to us to finish what they started." The alien students looked to their Deathworlder classmates with a mix of awe and trepidation. They had always known that the Deathworlders were strong and brave, but they had never imagined that they would be called upon to face such a terrible threat. As the teacher continued to explain the situation, the students listened intently, their minds racing with questions and fears. How could they, mere students, hope to stand against an evil of such magnitude? What could they possibly do to help? But as the Deathworlders began to speak, their voices filled with determination and courage, the alien students felt a flicker of hope ignite within their hearts. They realized that they were not alone in this fight, that they had allies who would stand with them no matter what. "We will not let this evil prevail," another Deathworlder declared, his eyes blazing with righteous fury. "We will fight with every ounce of strength we possess, and we will not rest until the universe is safe once more." The alien students, inspired by their classmates' bravery, rose to their feet, their own voices joining in a chorus of defiance. They knew that the road ahead would be long and perilous, that they would face challenges and dangers beyond anything they had ever known. But they also knew that they had each other, and that together, they could overcome anything. As the class dispersed that day, the students left with a new sense of purpose and unity. They knew that the fate of the universe rested on their shoulders, and they were determined to rise to the challenge. In the days and weeks that followed, the students threw themselves into their training, honing their skills and knowledge with a fierce dedication. The Deathworlders shared their ancient techniques of combat and survival, while the alien students contributed their own unique abilities and insights. And through it all, the bond between the students grew stronger and deeper, forged in the fires of adversity and tempered by the unbreakable ties of friendship. The ancient evil may have been powerful, but it had never faced a force like this before. A force of unity, of courage, and of unwavering determination. A force that would stop at nothing to protect the universe and all who called it home. And so, as the darkness gathered on the horizon, the students of the alien school stood ready, their hearts filled with hope and their minds set on victory. The battle for the fate of the universe had begun, and they would not rest until it was won. As the alien and Deathworlder students trained tirelessly, preparing for the battle against the ancient evil, they began to uncover more about the nature of the threat they faced. The Deathworlders shared ancient stories and prophecies, passed down through generations, that spoke of a being of pure darkness, a creature that fed on fear and despair. The students pored over dusty tomes and crumbling scrolls, searching for any clue that might help them in their fight. They discovered that the ancient evil had been defeated once before by a group of brave warriors who had sacrificed everything to seal it away. But now, the seal had been broken, and the evil was free once more, stronger and more malevolent than ever before. The students knew that they would need every ounce of courage and determination they possessed to stand against such a foe. As the days turned into weeks, the students' training intensified. The Deathworlders taught their alien classmates the ways of battle, how to wield weapons and harness their inner strength. The alien students, in turn, shared their knowledge of science and technology, devising new strategies and weapons to use against the darkness. And through it all, the students' bond grew stronger. They laughed together, cried together, and pushed each other to be better, to be braver. They knew that they were not just fighting for themselves, but for each other, and for all the countless worlds that depended on them. Finally, the day of the battle arrived. The students gathered on the Deathworlders' planet, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. They knew that this was the moment they had been training for, the moment that would decide the fate of the universe. As they stood on the battlefield, facing the ancient evil and its army of darkness, the students felt a surge of power flowing through them. They knew that they were not alone, that they had each other, and that together they could face anything. The battle was fierce and brutal, with the students fighting with every ounce of strength they possessed. They unleashed their weapons and abilities, battling against the hordes of shadow creatures that swarmed around them. The Deathworlders fought with a savage fury, their blades flashing in the darkness, while the alien students used their technology to blast the creatures back into the abyss. And at the center of it all, the ancient evil loomed, its malevolent presence casting a pall of despair over the battlefield. But the students would not give in to fear. They fought on, their hearts filled with the light of hope and the fire of determination. They knew that they were the only thing standing between the darkness and the destruction of everything they held dear. And then, in a moment of pure triumph, the students unleashed a final devastating attack. The ancient evil let out a howl of rage and pain, its form crumbling and dissolving into nothingness. The shadow creatures scattered, fleeing back into the depths from whence they had come. The students stood on the battlefield, exhausted but victorious. They had done it. They had faced the darkness and emerged triumphant. The universe was safe once more, thanks to their bravery and sacrifice. As they gathered together, the students knew that this was only the beginning. There would be other battles to fight, other evils to face, but they also knew that they would face them together, as friends and allies, united by a bond that could never be broken. And so, as the sun rose over the Deathworlders planet, casting its warm light over the battlefield, the students of the alien school stood tall and proud. They had proven that courage and friendship could overcome even the darkest of foes, and that together, there was nothing they could not accomplish. The universe would never forget the bravery of these young heroes, the students who had stood against the darkness and emerged victorious. And as they returned to their school, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, they knew that they would always have each other, and that no matter what the future held, they would face it together. In the aftermath of their epic battle against the ancient evil, the alien and Deathworlder students returned to their school as heroes. News of their bravery and triumph spread quickly throughout the galaxy, inspiring countless others to stand up against the forces of darkness. The students, however, remained humble in the face of their newfound fame. They knew that their victory had come at a great cost, and that many challenges still lay ahead. But they also knew that they had each other, and that together they could face anything. As the school year continued, the students found themselves facing new challenges and adventures. They explored strange new worlds, encountered exotic alien creatures, and learned valuable lessons about friendship, courage, and the power of knowledge. One day, as the students were gathered in the classroom, their teacher announced that they would be embarking on a special field trip to a nearby planet. The planet, she explained, was home to a mysterious artifact, an ancient relic that was said to hold the key to unlocking the secrets of the universe. The students were thrilled at the prospect of such an adventure, and they eagerly prepared for the journey ahead. The Deathworlders shared their knowledge of survival skills and combat techniques, while the alien students contributed their expertise in science and technology. As they set off on their journey, the students could hardly contain their excitement. They knew that this was the opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to make a real difference in the universe. But as they arrived on the planet and began their search for the artifact, they quickly realized that they were not alone. Other factions, both good and evil, were also seeking the relic, each for their own purposes. The students found themselves caught in the middle of a dangerous game of cat and mouse, with rival groups constantly trying to outmaneuver and outfight each other. They had to use all of their skills and knowledge to stay one step ahead, while also trying to unravel the mystery of the artifact. As they delved deeper into the planet's secrets, the students began to uncover a web of intrigue and deception that stretched back thousands of years. They learned of ancient wars and long-forgotten civilizations, of powerful beings who had once wielded the artifact's power for good or for ill. And at the center of it all, they found themselves facing a choice. The artifact, they discovered, was not just a tool for knowledge, but also a weapon of immense power. In the wrong hands, it could be used to unleash untold destruction upon the universe. The students knew that they had to make a decision. They could use the artifact to further their own ends, to gain power and influence beyond their wildest dreams. Or they could choose to destroy it, to ensure that its power could never again be used for evil. In the end, the students made the only choice they could. They knew that the universe was a fragile thing, and that it needed to be protected at all costs. And so, with heavy hearts but clear consciences, they destroyed the artifact, ensuring that its secrets would be lost forever. As they returned to their school, the students knew that they had made the right decision. They had faced temptation and emerged stronger for it, and they had proven once again that they were true heroes, willing to sacrifice anything for the greater good. And so, as the school year drew to a close, The Alien and Deathworlders students looked back on all that they had accomplished and all that they had learned. They knew that the universe was a vast and wondrous place, filled with endless possibilities and challenges. But they also knew that as long as they had each other, as long as they stood together as friends and allies, there was nothing they could not achieve. And with that knowledge, they set off into the future, ready to face whatever lay ahead, and to make their mark on the universe. As the Alien and Deathworlder students settled back into their routine of the school, they couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. They had faced some of the greatest challenges the universe had to offer, and they had emerged stronger and wiser for it. But even as they basked in the glow of their victories, they knew that their journey was far from over. There were still so many mysteries to unravel, so many adventures to be had, and so much more to learn. One day, as the students were gathered in the classroom, their teacher made a startling announcement. She had received a distress call from a far-off planet, a world that was being ravaged by a terrible plague. The planet's inhabitants were desperate for help, and they had turned to the school as their last hope. The students were shocked by the news, but they knew that they could not stand idly by while innocent lives were at stake. They quickly sprang into action, gathering their gear and preparing for the journey ahead. As they set off for the plague-ridden planet, the students couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation. They had never faced a challenge quite like this before, and they knew that the stakes were higher than ever. But they also knew that they had each other, and that together, they could overcome anything. The Deathworlders shared their knowledge of medicine and healing, while the alien students used their technological expertise to develop new treatments and cures. When they arrived on the planet, the students were shocked by what they saw. The once thriving world had been reduced to a wasteland, with the sick and dying littering the streets. The air was thick with the stench of death and decay, and the students knew that they had their work cut out for them. But they refused to give up. They worked tirelessly, day and night, to treat the sick and stem the spread of the plague. They used every tool at their disposal, from ancient herbal remedies to cutting-edge nanotechnology, to fight the disease and save as many lives as they could. As the days turned into weeks, the students began to make progress. The death toll began to slow, and the sick began to recover. The planet's inhabitants looked upon the students as saviors, and they showered them with gratitude and praise. But even as they celebrated their victories, the students knew that their work was not yet done. The plague had taken a terrible toll on the planet, and it would take years, if not decades, to fully recover. And so the students made a decision. They would stay on the planet for as long as it took to help rebuild and restore what had been lost. They knew that it would not be easy, but they also knew that it was the right thing to do. As they set to work, the students drew upon all of the lessons they had learned throughout their adventures. They used their knowledge and skills to help the planet's inhabitants rebuild their homes, their schools, and their lives. And through it all, they never forgot the bonds of friendship and camaraderie that had brought them together. They supported each other through the tough times and celebrated each other's successes. They knew that they were more than just classmates or allies. They were a family. Years passed, and the planet slowly began to heal. The students watched with pride as new life bloomed from the ashes of the old, and as the planet's inhabitants began to thrive once more. And when the time finally came for them to return to their school, the students knew that they had been forever changed by their experiences. They had learned that true heroism was not about grand battles or epic adventures, but about the quiet, everyday acts of kindness and compassion that could change the universe, one life at a time. As they looked to the future, the Alien and Deathworlder students knew that there would be many more challenges and adventures to come. But they also knew that as long as they had each other, as long as they held fast to the bonds of friendship and love that had brought them together, there was nothing they could not achieve. And so, with hearts full of hope and minds full of wonder, they set off into the great unknown, ready to face whatever lay ahead, and to make the universe a better place, one small step at a time. Years turned into decades, and the alien and Deathworlder students grew into the roles of leaders and heroes. They scattered across the universe, each finding their own path and purpose, but never forgetting the bonds of friendship and camaraderie that had brought them together. Some became great warriors, defending the innocent and the weak from the forces of darkness. Others became scholars and scientists, unlocking the secrets of the universe and pushing the boundaries of knowledge and understanding. And still others became diplomats and peacemakers, working tirelessly to bring the diverse peoples of the universe together in harmony and cooperation. But no matter where their paths led them, the students never forgot the lessons they had learned at the alien school. They carried with them the values of courage, compassion, and unity that had been forged in the fires of their adventures and challenges. And as the universe continued to change and evolve, the students found themselves facing new and even greater challenges. They confronted ancient evils that threatened to plunge the universe into darkness, and they grappled with moral and ethical dilemmas that tested the very foundations of their beliefs. But through it all, they remained true to themselves and to each other. They drew strength from the bonds of friendship and love that had brought them together, and they never wavered in their commitment to making the universe a better place. As the years passed, the students began to take on new roles and responsibilities. They became teachers and mentors, passing on their knowledge and wisdom to new generations of students. They became leaders and visionaries, guiding their people and their worlds towards a brighter and more hopeful future. And through it all, they never forgot the alien school where it had all begun. They returned there often to share their stories and their triumphs, and to draw strength and inspiration from the place that had made them who they were. As the students grew older and wiser, they began to realize that their adventures and challenges had been more than just a series of random events. They had been a part of something greater, a cosmic tapestry woven from the threads of destiny and chance. They had been chosen, each of them, to play a role in the unfolding of the universe's story. And though their paths had been difficult and fraught with danger, they knew that they had been privileged to be a part of something so much larger than themselves. And so, as the students looked back on their lives and their adventures, they did so with a sense of gratitude and wonder. They marveled at the twists and turns of fate that had brought them together, and at the incredible journeys that had shaped them into the heroes they had become. And as they looked to the future, they did so with hope and determination. They knew that the universe would always need heroes, and that there would always be challenges and adventures waiting to be had. And they knew that as long as they held fast to the bonds of friendship and love that had brought them together, there was nothing they could not achieve. And so, the alien and Deathworlder students, now the heroes and legends of the universe, set off once more into the great unknown. They did so with hearts full of courage and minds full of wonder, ready to face whatever lay ahead, and to make the universe a better place, one small step at a time. Their story would be remembered and celebrated for generations to come, a testament to the power of friendship, courage, and the unbreakable spirit of those who dared to dream of a better universe. And though the students themselves would eventually pass into legend, their legacy would endure, inspiring new generations of heroes to take up the mantle and continue the work they had begun. For in the end, that was the true gift of the alien school, and of the incredible students who had passed through its halls. It was not just the knowledge and skills they had gained, or the adventures they had had, but the spirit of hope and possibility that they had carried with them out into the universe. And as long as that spirit endured, as long as there were those who dared to dream and to fight for what was right, the universe would always be a place of wonder and possibility, a place where even the smallest and most unlikely of heroes could make a difference. So ends the tale of the alien and Deathworlder students, and of the incredible adventures and challenges that had shaped them into the heroes they had become. But their story, and the spirit of hope and courage that had guided them, would endure forever, a shining beacon of light in a universe that would always need heroes.